Good morning. Welcome to this week's edition of Monday Messages. Okay, so this week we're on spring break, so I'm in Asheville. So that's why I'm trying to make this not shaky. But I'm also trying to, my friend told me that when you're doing the phone, you always want to look up. So I was like, okay, makes you look better. I just, sometimes there just aren't enough camera angles. So, I in the middle of the week, I was starting to feel funky. I was feeling pretty down, and I couldn't figure out why. And I thought about, I just kind of, had to feel the funk that day. And I was trying to think what was going on. I was praying, I was meditating, I was doing everything I knew to do. Couldn't quite come up with it. And then it dawned on me. I was like, oh, we're getting ready to go on spring break. This would have been our spring break time. And every year, I like to go on spring break with my folks because it reminds me of, we were kids going on vacation with mom and dad. Oh gosh, some of the vacations we had. I remember one time we were, Dad would always try and find fun things for us to do, educational, but still fun. And one time we went, I think we were on our way down to the Keys, and oh, there was so much for this one. Like Dad pulled in, he's like, oh, let's go take a swim at the beach. And so we get out of the car, we all hop out of the car, and we go run down, and we're looking, and we're like, oh my God, nobody's wearing any clothes. My dad pulled into a nude beach. It's like us kids were like, oh. My dad was mortified. Get in the car, kids, get in the car. He brought us to a nude beach. And then we stopped in at this animal park along the way, one of those like drive-through animal parks. And I remember we had a family van at the time, and it was like, the old customized vans that were big back in the day, in the 80s. And we're going with the van, and my dad, sees this rhinoceros. We're all looking, and we see this rhinoceros, and Dad's like, oh, look at that. Look at the rhinoceros. And he's like, hey, get the camera, kids. And so we start digging for the camera, but as we're looking, we see the rhinoceros start to charge the car. And we're like, Dad, go. Well, wait, I want to get this picture. Get the camera, kids. This is a great picture. And the rhinoceros is like literally charging the car heading to ramp, like not mom and dad, no, the back where us kids were. And so finally Dad just, was like, go! When he realized that we were actually in mortal danger, he actually hit the gas, and we took off. And I think this particular vacation ended, we went to the Keys, as I mentioned, and that night I had a little lobster. Well, to come to find out, the lobster was bad lobster. And I paid the price. I was doubled up over on the floor with all kinds of intestinal issues I never have been experienced in my life. So, of course, the thought is I'm going to die. But then finally I was like, realize, okay, well, we just have to cut this vacation short and go home back to Orlando. And so Mom and Dad said, well, we can't get her home because she might have an accident. And so they're like, well, let's go get some Depends undergarments. So they went and got Depends undergarments. Now, mind you, at this time, I'm like 17 years old. I'm like a teenager, and it's like very self-conscious. And so they give me these freaking Depend undergarments. So I have to put on these Depend and at the time, they weren't even like the cool Depends. They were like diapers, like literally adult diapers. And like when I would walk, you would hear ronka, ronka, ronka. You could hear the plastic going. And so I was like, okay, whatever. I just want to get home. I just want to lay in bed and feel better. And so as we're driving home, now my mom is a shopaholic, and she's like, malls are irresistible to her. So on the way home, they're like, hey, Kelly's feeling better. Why don't we pull into the mall and just go to do some shopping at the mall? And everyone's like, yeah, that's a great idea. I'm like, no, let's not. But we pull in, and I'm like, oh God. Meanwhile, still in my Depend undergarments, and I start walking around, and of course, I'm walking, you hear ronka, 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 and I'm like, oh. And so we go to the shoe department of all places, like the quietest place in the department store. And all of a sudden, my mom's buying a pair of shoes, and I'm standing there, and it's like this, like really attractive guy helping us out with shoe sales, and I'm kind of smiling, and then I shift, and you hear "Raka," and I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna know I'm wearing Depend undergarments. And so I just like, what do I do? What do I do? So I like quickly grabbed the plastic wrapper, and I started kind of playing around with it. I'm like, oh, it's the plastic wrap. And finally we made it home, and I got better, obviously, but that vacation was one for the books. But you know what it is that they were always, all our family vacations, it wasn't so much where we went, it was what we did and who we were with. And I had to remember that. Last year, we didn't get to go anywhere. We were pretty much stuck at home. We had planned on going on my mom and dad and me and Liam were going to go on this family vacation like we used to go and have all kinds of great experiences, and it just didn't happen. We couldn't even come to Asheville because we were in such lockdown and nobody knew what was going on, and we could barely make it out to the grocery store, to much less think about even coming to Asheville because didn't want anything to happen to my parents. So what it was I was feeling self-pity because we weren't going to get to go on a family vacation this year, the family spring break that we always would go on. And then I had to take a look at that and say, no, you know what? I gotta be grateful because there's a lot of really good things going on. Maybe we're not able to get in the car and physically drive and go on a big vacation like we would go in the past, like New York City or, somewhere, Chicago, who knows where we would go. We just take off for 2 weeks and drive and go to all these fun places like I did when I was a kid. And it dawned on me, it's like, no, I get to, this year we actually get to go to Asheville and be with my folks. People come to Asheville for vacation, period. So my parents just happen to live here. So we're going to take advantage of being in Asheville with my mom and dad and experience, do the experiences, with mom and dad. So it's not about where we go so much as what we get to do with my mom and dad and really get to spend the time and make the memories. So it's actually turning out to be a really good spring break. Once I changed the message from poor me to thank you for letting me get to go on this, adventure with my son in the middle of a pandemic. Hopefully we're coming up out of it. But I get to go and be with my son and my mom and dad and go all kinds of fun places. We're going to the Biltmore today. I get to go see the Biltmore Mansion and run around there. And we got a bunch of other fun things planned for the week as well. So how about you? Are you feeling sorry? Are you feeling down at all? Kind of, do you ever find yourself stuck in that pity pot party? It's like, poor me, why me? Well, change the message around because really there's so much to be grateful for. And if you can just find one thing to be grateful for out of the situation, you can focus on that one thing and change your whole outlook around. Because the minute I changed my outlook from, poor me, we don't get to go on this vacation, to, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful we get to go up to Asheville and be with mom and dad, it made the hugest difference in the world. My funk lifted. I felt better. I'm actually enjoying myself. We're having a great time and enjoying our time. So take that message of I wish I could, to thank God I can, and really cherish the times that you get to spend doing whatever it is with those you love, because those times are short and you don't want to miss a single minute. All right, let's see. Is this a better camera angle? I don't know. So hopefully it wasn't too shaky. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next week for another Monday message. Bye.